Hello, my name is Barbie Ortiz, and I'm a geography major here at San Diego State. And here with me is Dr. John Weeks, who has recently been honored with the prestigious Teacher Award. Congratulations on your achievement.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
How long have you been teaching at San Diego State?
I've been teaching at San Diego State for about 37 years. Yes, well before you were born.
What are some of the things that you have enjoyed about teaching?
Well, actually, the best thing about teaching is the students.
The students?
Sure. I mean,
Yeah.
we wouldn't teach if it weren't for good students.
Yeah.
And so we've got good students like you make teaching a worthwhile enterprise.
I'm curious, how did you enter into the field of geography? Did you major in that during your education?
No, I didn't. Actually, the very first course that I ever taught in geography was the first course that I ever took in geography was the first class I taught here in this geography department about 20 years ago, when I moved from the sociology department into the geography department.
Oh, so you just fell in love with stats and...
Well, I have been teaching statistics all my life, but in fact, demography is an inherently spatial science. And so when I was chair of the sociology department, I actually went around to local consulting firms. There used to be a lot of consulting firms that did demographic analysis. And I went to them and I said to them, what kinds of things do you need for me to teach, for example, my graduate seminar on population in the sociology department, in order for them to get a job with you? And what I heard universally from all of these people was, we can teach anybody demography. What we need is somebody with a background in geography. And so, as a consequence of that, I came over to the geography department, started talking to Professor Wright. Now, he retired 2 or 3 years ago. He may have retired before you started here.
I don't believe that.
Professor Richard Wright. Okay. Well, he for years and years was the GIS guru. Okay. He was the guy that really got GIS going in this department. And so I asked him if he would come to my graduate seminar in sociology department to talk to students about GIS and to teach me about GIS. And so he did that for 2 or 3 years in a row, and then he got me involved in the software. And then it was 19 years ago, the opportunity came up for me to move from sociology into geography, and so I jumped at the chance. And in fact, here's the interesting thing. I'll mention this actually on Friday. The person for whom this award is named is the Albert W. Johnson Award, and Al Johnson was Vice President of Academic Affairs 20 years ago. And it was Al Johnson who facilitated my move from sociology to geography. So I'm grateful to Al ever since for having allowed me to do that, because that's the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing.
So do you believe geography as a whole is very important?
It's the most important thing in the world, that's right. Well, the only thing that's more important is demography generally, right? But geography is very, very important, yeah. And if you don't have a sense of space, if you don't have a sense of how things go together spatially, you just aren't going to understand the world.
So I know from lectures I've had with you that you have research projects in different areas in the world. Could you please describe a couple of them for me?
Well, the thing I'm going to talk about most this lecture on Friday is the current work that we're doing in Accra, Ghana, across the capital of Ghana. The work that led up to that, however, was, I think, much of what we talked about in spatial statistics last semester was the work in Cairo, Egypt, which, of course, now everybody's interested in Cairo all of a sudden. Yes. So all those maps I showed you last semester of Cairo, hopefully you remember where the Tahrir Square is. And what it's like, but that was actually the work that got us going, because this was more than a decade ago. We were just speculating whether we could learn anything about what's happening in a big city like Cairo just from analyzing the satellite imagery. And the people working on remotely sensed imagery in this department and most geography departments are doing it in terms of trying to understand the physical landscape only, and looking at human environment interaction and that sort of thing, but never really from a social science perspective. And so what we were interested in was, could we understand the social behavior on the ground by knowing what the imagery looked like.
Oh.
And so that got us into the work that we're doing right
Do you usually take students with you on your research?
Actually, every single one of my PhD students has spent time in a crop.
So only PhD students can be involved in your
No,
research?
no, it's not. It's not that only PhD students can be involved in research. I've got master's students, and I actually have one undergraduate student involved in research right now too. It's usually though that by the time you get a little more advanced and you've got enough background to be able to take away from that trip, which is a long trip and expensive trip, to take away from it enough stuff that it's worth it.
Yeah. Oh, I guess we have time. Well, thank you, Professor, for spending time with me. Like, I really enjoyed learning about your experiences, and I'm sure other students will appreciate your insights as well.
Thank you very much, Barbie. Appreciate it.
Thank you.